Abigail Experiment. On the 14th of July, 2003, the U.S. government declassified information about Area 51. Then comes the story of Abigail from 1943. At that time, Area 51 was an airfield, but there were rumors of experiments. Journalists, despite strict security, revealed the story of Abigail Wester, daughter of Major Albert Wester, a scientist at Area 51. During World War II, the U.S. sought to create a super soldier like Captain America, but lacked volunteers. Albert Wester offered his daughter Abigail, a gifted student, for the experiment, and they were both confident in its success. Abigail Wester participated in a high-radiation experiment conducted by her father Albert at Area 51 to create a super soldier. Despite Abigail's severe physical changes, deformed face, hair loss, rapid aging, Albert refused to stop, fueled by his belief in his theories and Abigail's faith in him. Abigail received huge amounts of food. Witnesses claimed that she turned into a 3-meter monster and went wild. Despite the project being deemed a failure, Albert continued to work, facing increasing pressure from colleagues in the U.S. Army, who demanded that the costly project be terminated. Funding for Project Abigail was cut due to the horrifying results. Albert committed suicide, but begged to spare Abigail's life. The staff spared her, but cut funding. Abigail escaped, killing guards. The area was cordoned off. 70 years later, her screams can still be heard. Despite the failure, Albert created an invulnerable, uncontrollable creature. But first, I've got a challenge for you. Only 1% of viewers will be able to complete it. Here are the rules. Skipping ahead, leaving halfway through, or watching on fast speed equals you lose. Are you ready? Experiment on gender change. John Money, a renowned researcher of sexuality and gender identity, introduced the concepts of gender roles and gender identity, emphasizing their acquired nature. However, he is also infamous for his experiment on Bruce Reimer. As an infant, Bruce underwent a botched circumcision, damaging his genitals. The parents turned to Money, who proposed gender reassignment and raising Bruce as a girl. Dr. Money convinced Bruce Reimer's parents, the parents of a boy with damaged genitals, to raise him as a girl and perform gender reassignment surgery. Bruce had his testicles removed and a vulva created. He was given the name Brenda and began taking estrogen in adolescence. Bruce was unaware of his past. Money conducted regular examinations, which included studying the genitals of Bruce and his twin brother, as well as rehearsals of sexual positions. Money observed these procedures and, according to Bruce, behaved cruelly if the brothers resisted. Despite Money's claims of success, Bruce, raised as Brenda, experienced gender dysphoria, did not identify as a girl, and was subjected to ridicule. At 15, his father told him the truth. Bruce embraced himself as a man, took the name David, underwent hormone therapy, and penis reconstruction. He married but suffered severe psychological trauma from Money's experiments. As an adult, David spoke out about his experience, sparking controversy over Money's methods and undermining the scientific consensus on gender reassignment. The parents accused Money of withholding information about David's psychological state. Money dismissed Reimer's criticism and accused him of bias. Reimer himself suffered from psychological problems. His twin brother suffered from depression, which developed into schizophrenia, and died. In 2004, after learning of his divorce, Reimer died. This tragic story formed the basis for numerous books, documentaries, and references in pop culture. Money continued his career until his death in 2006. Experiments. Joseph Mengele was a German scientist whose name will forever remain associated with the nightmare. He cut open live babies to see how their insides worked. I tried to create Siamese twins by connecting children in various ways. They took place in the Auschwitz concentration camp. The experiment with the brothers. One of them had a wonderful voice. He could sing delightfully, and the other surprisingly had difficulty even talking. He had some problems with his vocal cords. Without thinking twice, Mengele took out his vocal cords and began to consider how they differed. The operation was performed without anesthesia, and after the operation, there were no more guys. Organ experiment. Twins had their organs amputated alive to see if they would react the same way to the same problems. An experiment with 14 gypsy twins, and for each of them he filled a syringe with chloroform and injected them right into their hearts. The gypsies died in terrible agony, but no one has yet understood the essence of this experiment, the eye-changing experiment. Mengele was obsessed with the idea of changing the color of his eyes. For this, he took 36 children and injected a different liquid into the eyes of each of them. For some, the ink was blue, the color was red, and for others, various chemicals. Half of the children died immediately, and the other half went blind. In 1944, the twins Ava and Miriam were sent to Auschwitz. There they were noticed by Dr. Mengele, who was conducting terrible experiments. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, the girls were taken to the laboratory, where they received numerous injections. They didn't know what they were being injected with. The girls' parents died in the gas chamber. Ava and Miriam miraculously survived. Mengele's experiments have left a mark for life, and scientists suggest that the girls were injected with dangerous infections. After the war, the girls had to face the consequences of experiments that affected their health. If one of the twins died, Mengele killed the other. So the survival of both sisters is an incredible piece of luck. Josef Mengele. Want to know if they survived? Like and subscribe to unlock the answer. 3, 2, 1. Soviet troops approached. He burned all the records of his experiments and fled. At first, he hid on a German farm, working for food, then emigrated to Latin America, Argentina, Peru, Brazil. He was wanted by the Mossad organization, but eventually stopped searching. Life on the run had greatly changed him. He suffered from loneliness, was afraid to go out without dogs, and built an observation tower at home. In 1979, his life tragically ended in Brazil when he drowned while swimming in the ocean after a stroke. That's how life ended. Experiment with pouring hot water. It is 1847, and disease rages in the stifling heat of the Mississippi Delta. Caleb, barely of age, suffers from agonizing typhoid pneumonia, each breath a struggle. Dr. Walter Jones arrives. He issues the order to prepare Caleb. Circulation must be increased. 2 enslaved people, their faces contorted with horror, turn Caleb onto his stomach. He is too weak to resist, his body consumed by fever. Metal glints, a bucket filled with fiercely boiling water. Blinding pain pierces Caleb's back. A primal scream erupts from his throat. His flesh burns and blisters. 22 liters of liquid hell scorch his skin, his muscles convulsing. His world shrinks to a white-hot agony. 4 hours. The order is repeated, the voice strangely calm amidst the chaos. 4 more hours of torment. This is not medicine. It is murder. Caleb is not alone. Others endure the same horrific treatment. Some find solace in death. Others cling to life with desperate resilience. Jones, however, remains unmoved, meticulously recording his observations in a journal. Dosage, reaction, perceived improvement. The word success appears more and more often. But the screams do not cease. The heavy smell of burning flesh hangs in the air. This is not science. It is sadism cloaked in a white coat. Caleb's story ends not with liberation or triumph, but with madness and death.
I don't think that you will manage to click on the next video before the time runs out. 3, 2, 1. You lost.